You may not realize how much disdain or quiet disgust you actually feel toward wealthy people. Not consciously, not in a way you'd ever say out loud, but in the small reactions your body has before your mind catches up. The eye roll, the tightening in your chest, the instant story you make about who they must be: greedy, out of touch, unethical, cold, selfish. And in this video, I want to talk about how those reactions, the subtle ones, are one of the biggest reasons people repel wealth without realizing it. I'm going to give you examples of how certain attitudes toward people who have more keep you out of alignment with receiving more yourself. I'll share a real life interaction I had recently that made this pattern painfully obvious. And by the end of this video, my intention is that you walk away free from the envy, resentment, and moral tension that keeps money at arm's length, so you can actually practice allowing instead of pushing against it. This isn't about becoming greedy or losing your values. It's about noticing where your nervous system has learned to associate wealth with danger. So, a few days ago, I was approached by a stranger, completely random interaction. We were chatting casually, nothing deep, nothing charged. At one point, we started talking about where we live. I answered honestly, and the moment I said the area, her entire energy shifted. Her face changed, her body closed. She repeated the name of the area back to me and then walked away. No argument, no insult, no tone shift on my end. And what's so ironic is that she approached me complaining about someone who was very impolite to her. And she was saying, "Oh, you can't teach these people manners, right?" And then here we are. She just walked away from me while we were conversing. She didn't leave because of what I said. She left because of what my reality represented to her. That moment had nothing to do with manners. It had everything to do with status threat. This is what the evil money wound looks like in real life. The wounded belief that being rich is bad or wrong. Most people think money wounds show up as overspending, under earning, or fear of charging. But one of the most common places this wound lives is in judgment, especially moral judgment. A lot of people are carrying an unexamined belief that wealth is inherently harmful, that for someone to have more, someone else must have less, that money is a zero-sum game, that power automatically means domination, that ease automatically means exploitation. This idea is taught everywhere. Families pass it down, media reinforces it, movies frame it, news headlines amplify it. Rich equals bad, struggling equals good, middle or working class equals moral. So when someone grows up inside that story, their nervous system learns crossing a certain financial threshold is not safe. Not socially, not emotionally, not morally. And when wealth feels unsafe, the body reacts before the mind has a chance to reason. That's why reactions to wealth are often visceral: disgust, withdrawal, condemnation, silent judgment, no curiosity, no nuance. That reaction isn't intelligence, it's conditioning. When you look at someone who has wealth and you push against them internally, when you dislike them, condemn them, gather evidence against them, you are training your nervous system to associate money with threat, with separation, with danger to identity. And then the mind turns around and says, "Why doesn't money come to me? Why doesn't money come to me?" Money doesn't move toward what feels hostile. It doesn't stick where it isn't welcomed. This is why resentment toward wealth quietly sabotages people. There's a very common belief that wealthy people are depriving others. that if one person has more, someone else must be losing. But if that were true, money would not repeatedly flow back into the same hands after redistribution, inheritance, welfare, windfalls, or lottery wins. What actually determines where money accumulates is not fairness, it's internal allowance. Money moves toward expectation, toward familiarity, toward identities that feel safe holding it. And when someone looks at wealth and says, that shouldn't belong to you, what they are really doing is reinforcing a separation inside themselves. They are telling their own system, this is not for me. That's why you see people receive money and immediately lose it. Why raises coincide with sudden exits, why abundance arrives and then dissolves. It's not random, it's protective. Another layer of this wound shows up as moral superiority. You'll hear it in phrases like, I don't need much, I live simply, I don't want anything fancy, I just want enough. I don't want to be one of those people. I want to be relatable. It gives off this energy of I'm too evolved for money. So, on the surface, that sounds grounded, but often underneath it is fear, fear of being judged, rejected, misunderstood, or hated. Belonging is so powerful, stronger than ambition, stronger than desire. Most people would rather stay financially limited than risk being seen as bad. There was this lady who made a comment on one of my videos in which she said that she just realized after watching my video that her main money block was that she was afraid of not belonging to her people, to her family, if she reached a new level of wealth. That's why many people downplay purchases, hide success, complain about money to stay relatable, avoid ease so they are not resented. This isn't humility, it's survival. And it starts early. People raised around wealth tend to expect it. People raised around condemnation of wealth tend to reject it, even if they want it, because expectation feels dangerous when it threatens belonging. So, so when someone sees a wealthy person and feels anger or disgust, that reaction is usually sitting on top of unprocessed shame, resentment, and inherited beliefs about who is allowed to have what. It's projection. You assign meaning to the symbol, the house, the postcode, the car, the income, and then you react to the meaning, not to the person. That woman didn't reject me. She rejected what money represents to her. Here's the part that's hard to swallow. When you curse abundance in others, you cut yourself off from it. When you bless it, your system softens. It opens. It becomes curious instead of defensive. You've probably met someone who seems lucky. Things just go their way. Opportunities find them. Support shows up. And if you're not in that state, it can feel infuriating, unfair, like they don't deserve it as much as you do. But resentment doesn't level the playing field, it widens the gap because what you're really resenting is their permission to receive. And that's why so many ideological fights around money feel so charged. Politics, religion, economics, underneath all of it is a fight over who gets to feel good, who gets ease, who gets satisfaction without punishment. At the root of the evil money wound is the belief that joy must be earned through suffering, that ease requires justification, that receiving without pain is immoral. And as long as that belief lives in the body, money will feel slippery. So here's the shift. No one can receive something they don't feel worthy of holding. No one can keep what their identity rejects. No system, law, redistribution, or external correction can override that. The moment you decide genuinely that you're allowed to receive without apology, something relaxes. The nervous system stops bracing, the internal conflict dissolves, and money stops feeling like a moral test. If wealth makes you uncomfortable, it's got nothing to do with you being virtuous. It's because there's a wound, and awareness is the first step. If you want to know whether you're carrying this wound or any other blocks around money, I have a free money wound quiz linked below. It's very accurate and it saves people from years of surface level mindset work. And if you already know this wound lives in you, I do have an evil money wound healing package. It's deep work, nervous system regulation, subconscious reprogramming, somatic integration, shadow work. It's not about positive thinking, it's about removing the internal resistance that keeps abundance out. This work isn't for everyone, only for people who are serious about healing the part of themselves that equates wealth with danger. Because wealth and abundance doesn't require you to become someone else, it just requires you to stop believing that receiving means losing who you are. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, sending you love, and I will see you in a jiffy.